watching the face-off with Rolly and Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia, he was a hypocrite per usual, right? And he said something in that face-off. He said that, you know, Rolly said something about he felt that the weight, him blowing off the weight, I'm paraphrasing, you know, was the issue, and that's why that was the difference. I mean, he almost blew the weight off by 4 pounds. So Ryan was like, well, you know, they took the money, they shouldn't complain about it, right? That's what he said. He said he took the money, they shouldn't be going on Sports Center to complain about it. Then turned around a few minutes later and said that Rolly kept saying he quit. They actually, Rolly, Chris Mannix asked him that he felt like Ryan Garcia quit versus Tank. Then he started saying, well, I should have pulled out. I had a rib injury. I was dehydrated. Hold on. You signed the contract, right? You took the money. You agreed to the terms. Shouldn't that same principle apply to the Devin Haney thing? Now, the Golden Boy has done a great job, and the Zone has done a great job to minimize the noise around Ryan Garcia cheating, right? And a lot of fighters don't want to say nothing because they are cheaters. That's why when you hear fighters not take a hard stance on performance-enhancing drugs, they cheated. And this is not my opinion. This is some things that was echoed behind the scenes when some questions was being asked. It's because they're cheaters, right? Ryan Garcia is a hypocrite. He's a cheating son of a bitch. And I'm going to continue to stand on that hill. You know, he can go about and say that they took the money. Well, you agreed to the fight with Tank. You agreed to those terms to, you know, if you're the A side and they need you to make money, then why would you let them jive you in negotiations like that? And then you have people say, well, we got caught with 000, and we know Golden Boy is putting bots out there. Bill and Devin let them know that, and they putting bots out there and shit. And you can tell in the comment section, right? But that don't bother us. That's not gonna stop the grind. It's not gonna stop the shine on them being cheaters. People say, well, you had a little bit left. You don't understand. That means he didn't cycle off the drug the right way. So just because you get caught with a little bit, it doesn't mean that you don't get the full maximum benefit. But people don't know how they cycle on and off drugs. So he was probably if it was a little bit in there, he's probably was close to beating a drug test. He just didn't do something right. But the thing about science, everything, it's like baking. Everything has to be perfect, or you might end up with a flat cake. You might end up with a dry cake. Same thing when you're dealing with steroids. If you don't take it when they say take it, how they say take it to the T, you're going to get caught. And if you make a little slip up, they say take this and you use this, 10 minutes after you use it, you take this to flush it. And you wait 11 minutes to flush it, you open up the window to get caught. That's just what it is. That's what it is. So they can be on the Zone and try to gloss over the fact that he got caught for steroids. I'm telling y'all, that's nothing new with Ryan Garcia. That's been out there for years. But if I'm a fighter in the sport and I got popularity, why wouldn't I cheat? Because he got caught cheating, got gifted with him and Rolly fighting for a regular belt for the right to fight Boots. He getting more money than he probably ever got in his career. Why wouldn't that encourage more fighters to cheat? He lost a year of wages and came back probably making quadruple his salary. Why would you play straight? Why would you play the game fair? Why do we have drug testing if that's going to be the case? If I get popped high, if I pop high, right? If I get popped high, I get a birthday celebration, I get money. You know what I'm saying? I get more money than I made, more popularity, a main event spot. And I understand life isn't fair, but like I continue to say, and there's obviously a lot of jealousy around Devin Haney. We're only like, I don't care, Lucky. I love the defense. Niggas really be jealous. You know, and they get to arguing about, who got knocked out the worst and all this other shit. They both ass. Rolling talking about this is gonna be the biggest fight in boxing history. Like what? Like what? It's hilarious. Truly hilarious. Truly hilarious. But like I said, it's a lot of hypocrisy in that shit. And like I said before, when you see the zone is no different from a lot of the other networks. There was a lot of complaints about HBO and how HBO used to play favoritism. And remember, they started leaning far left with the European fighters. Remember that? The zone is no different. The zone leans, they lean away very, very hard. They lean hard towards the house fighter. They lean hard towards the house fighter. Ain't no shame in that game. And some of the actions and how they used a guy like Demetrius Andrade, well, Andrade really used them. They used a guy like Devin and chewed him up and spit him out. It's crazy. But him making that statement as far as him saying, well, they took the money for the weight and they should have basically not said nothing and not complained about it. Like, nigga, you always doing that for a fight. He got that from Canelo. They always change the weight at the weigh-in. We're not gonna make weight, and I was smoking and I was drinking and I'm more focused now than I ain't trying to hear that bullshit. I'm not trying to hear none of that shit. I was smoking and I was drinking and I wasn't focused, and get out of here. Beat it. He may not make 147. A year off, Ryan may not make 147. Because he doesn't care. He doesn't take the sport serious. He doesn't respect the sport. He doesn't care. He does not care. He's fighting the weakest opponent on the card. A guy in reality should have been 3-3 in his last 6. A guy that's missed weight on multiple occasions. A guy that's, changed the weight at the weigh-in. Come on. And in reality, 4 pounds, most people gonna call it off. And that's the Haney's fault. They mind is always on the monetary gain. And when your mind only see green, that's one of the worst attributes you can have. Because you're gonna miss a lot of snakes in that grass. You're gonna miss a lot of snakes in that grass. That's a fact. But at the end of the day, we'll see. Devin got to get past Jose Ramirez. But this was a face-off they could have kept. Honestly. Neither one of them is on some fly, pimp talking, street talking shit. They could have wasted it. They could have saved everybody's time. The only face-off that's on this card that's worth seeing is Jose Ramirez, and not Jose Ramirez, excuse me, Arnold Barboza and Teofimo Lopez. Them the only two on this whole card that know how to pop shit. That's the only face-off we needed to see. Them the only two guys that know how to go back and forth. The rest of them non-talking ass niggas on this card, we don't need to hear from them. And I'm gonna end it off on this. Golden Boy has done a very good job online of sending their bots and sending these fake accounts and creating these accounts to discourage content creators, right, from speaking the real about Ryan Garcia. People know it when I go live. You look in the comment section, especially when I go vertically live. But at the end of the day, they can hope and wish all they want to. The truth is going that was fun. But the truth is always going to be the truth. You get out this way, like, oh, this is the roads they're going to be working on. This is crazy. As soon as you get to Livingston County, roads go to shit. But the truth is gonna be the truth. So if Ryan, really beat him on the up and up, that's just gonna be the truth. If Ryan didn't beat him on the up and up, all that shit gonna show. And I think a lot of people felt like it was a reason why he didn't take that exhibition fight. And it wasn't just because of Golden Boy crying about money and shit. Oscar De La Hoya broke. Golden Boy is a hustling backwards ass business. You can tell the way he operated. And then they got Charles Conwell. They got him beat. Niggas didn't even know Charles Conwell be fighting. Conwell made the biggest mistake signing with them. But it is what it is, man. Let me know what y'all think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. Go live and drop video. Check out the Box News playlist. Find me on hit the link tree. Find me on Patreon, Facebook, X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Appreciate the love and support.